Welcome everyone to an exciting and in-depth journey exploring the incredible process of crafting palm sugar candies, from raw palm sap into mouth-watering treats. It all starts right here. Massive blocks of raw palm sugar are loaded into a huge metal pan, kicking off this sweet transformation. Without missing a beat, the artisan starts stirring non-stop. This step is absolutely crucial and demands incredible stamina and focus. Take a close look. The mixture bubbles vigorously. This constant stirring serves two key purposes. First, it distributes heat evenly, ensuring the material melts and cooks uniformly. Second, and even more vital, it prevents the sugar at the bottom from burning by avoiding prolonged contact with the heat, which could ruin the entire batch's flavor. While the pan of candy simmers, preparations for the next stage are already underway. Large, flat aluminum trays are wiped clean and coated with a layer of grease to prevent sticking. These will be where the hot candy mixture is poured to cool down. Back to the hot pan. The master artisan uses a flat metal rod. This isn't random at all. It's their handmade thermometer. By dipping it in and observing, they rely on experience, not numbers, but on color, viscosity, and how the syrup flows to pinpoint exactly when the mixture hits that perfect point. And here's the moment of transformation. Once it's ready, the entire pan of candy, now a rich, glossy caramel brown, is lifted off the heat. Steam rises in clouds. The artisan carefully pours this golden liquid into the prepared trays. This stunning color comes from caramelization, creating that deep signature flavor we all crave. The mixture isn't left to cool fully. As the candy starts to set at the edges, still super hot but pliable, the artisan begins gathering it up. They lift the edges and fold them inward. Now it's time for raw strength and a keen touch. The artisan kneads, presses, and folds the candy mass over and over. Imagine kneading dough, but this dough weighs dozens of pounds and is scorching hot. This technique evenly dissipates heat throughout the mass and starts building the texture, setting up for the most spectacular stage ahead. And here it is, folks, the symphony of labor and skill. The pulling stage. The warm, pliable candy block is draped over a sturdy wooden post. Two men, working in perfect harmony, start stretching the candy out, then loop it back and stretch again. It's a dance that requires power and precise coordination. Watch the magic unfold. With each pull and fold, millions of tiny air bubbles are incorporated into the candy. This manual aeration is the secret sauce. It not only lightens the color from deep brown to bright gold, but completely transforms the structure, turning dense and hard candy into something airy, crispy, and light as a feather. After dozens, maybe hundreds of pulls, the massive candy block, now glowing golden and filled with parallel air strands, is placed on a wooden table. The lead artisan uses hand strength to skillfully roll and shape the block, compressing it into a long, uniform cylinder. Moves must be swift and spot on, because if the candy cools too much, it hardens and can't be shaped anymore. This large cylinder is stretched out once more. This time they pull it into longer strands with smaller diameters, prepping for the cutting phase. To keep these warm, sticky strands from clumping, a key helper ingredient comes in. That's rice flour. Fine white rice flour is sprinkled on the table and rolled evenly over the strands. It's the ultimate natural, safe anti-stick agent. And finally, the harvest moment. With a sharp knife and steady hands, the artisan swiftly cuts the flour-coated strands into small, uniform cylinders. Thousands of candy pieces are born in seconds, ready to fully cool before reaching eager consumers. Welcome back, everyone. In the next part of our journey, we'll witness a totally different process, where palm sugar isn't pulled into strands but blended with a soulful element of Asian cuisine, toasted sesame seeds. It all kicks off again in the familiar metal karahi pan. Solid blocks of pure palm sugar are added, along with just enough liquid. And here's a fascinating twist. Instead of manual stirring, a semi-automatic machine steps in. The artisan cranks a handle, slowly lowering a massive metal spiral shaft into the boiling syrup pan. Once the stirrer is locked in place, the second star ingredient makes its entrance. A huge load of perfectly toasted, fragrant sesame seeds is dumped right into the pan. This is the fusion moment. The machine revs up to full power. The spiral churns steadily and forcefully, tackling a job that's tough for human arms, mixing dozens of pounds of sesame and thick syrup. This method guarantees one thing: every single seed gets flawlessly coated in the molten palm sugar. Check out the flames below. They need to stay at an intensely high and steady temperature. The goal is to keep the sugar perfectly liquid without seizing or scorching during the entire mixing process. The mixing reaches its peak. The blend is now a unified, hefty mass in a gorgeous golden brown hue. When it's spot-on perfect, without a second's delay, the artisan hoists the heavy pan and dumps the entire scorching sesame candy mix onto a large flat metal table. A race against time kicks off. Another artisan jumps in with specialized rakes and shovels to spread the mix thin. Speed is key because palm sugar cools and hardens in mere minutes. To achieve a perfectly flat slab with uniform thickness, a heavy metal roller comes into play. The artisan leans in with full body weight, rolling back and forth repeatedly. This isn't just flattening, it's compressing, binding the sesame seeds tightly, expelling air bubbles, and defining the crisp, solid texture of the final bars. While the slab is still warm and not fully set, a specialized divider tool is applied. It's a roller with multiple circular blades. The artisan pushes it firmly once, slicing the slab into even long strips. Right after, a similar cutter is used perpendicularly. Speed and precision are crucial. They have to finish shaping within a super narrow time window before the candy gets too brittle and shatters. Now the slab has cooled. The cuts have shaped the product. Artisans carefully snap the slab along the lines, stacking the pieces neatly. We can see the cross-section dense, glistening with sesame seeds. Finally, these crunchy sesame candy bars, bursting with palm sugar sweetness and toasted sesame aroma, are swiftly packed into bags, ready to ship out and share the essence of passionate craftsmanship. Welcome back, folks. We've journeyed through 2 impressive artisan candy-making processes together. And in the final, most spectacular part of this video series, we'll step into a professional facility to discover how they create Soan Papdi, one of the most famous and delicate flaked sweets around. Stick around, because this is a symphony of temperature control, speed, and extraordinary teamwork. This is where it all begins, an industrial dispensing spout. Perfectly heated palm sugar syrup flows out in a steady stream. Immediately, the hot syrup is poured onto an enormous metal cooling table. Its shimmering golden color is absolutely mesmerizing. Once the sugar has cooled to a thick, pliable state, it's moved to the main stage, a massive circular metal table. A team of 4 or 5 workers gathers around the table. They start kneading and pulling the sugar mass with specialized tools. Notice this. They're wearing protective gear, including hairnets, masks, and aprons. This shows we're in a facility that prioritizes food safety and hygiene. The sugar is pulled into a large loop. And here it is, the heart of Soan Papdi. A mixture, typically roasted chickpea flour besan blended with pure ghee and cardamom, is poured right into the center of the sugar loop. The real dance begins. The workers skillfully fold the sugar loop over, encasing the flour mixture inside. And then, they pull. They stretch, twist into figure eights, and fold again. Each fold doubles the layers of sugar strands and flour. This is manual lamination at an astonishing speed. This process does more than mix ingredients. It's aerating the mass and stretching the sugar into thousands, then tens of thousands of thread-thin filaments. The block shifts from deep gold to pale cream. It's unbelievable. From a dense syrup blob, we now have a gigantic fluffy cloud, light, airy, and fragrant. This is the melt-in-your-mouth texture that defines Soan Papdi. This flaked candy mass is quickly transferred to a rectangular metal mold, which might already have nuts like almonds or pistachios sprinkled at the bottom. Workers gently spread and arrange the flakes in the mold. They don't press hard, just even it out. Got to preserve that airy fluffiness they've worked so hard to create. A scoring tool is placed on top. A worker uses a long knife to make decisive cuts, dividing the block into a perfect grid. This has to happen while it's still warm, before it cools and becomes fragile. The mold is lifted away, leaving a neat, squared-off slab of Soan Papdi. Quality control kicks in. Each piece is weighed on a digital scale. Everything must be uniform in weight. And here's the final product, carefully packaged. We see the brand Batu Batas, with a proud heritage since 1914. The boxes are sealed, ready to deliver this exquisite flavor far and wide. Folks, from hot syrup through the power and skill of a dedicated team, to delicate threads that melt away. It's a journey of passionate labor, worth celebrating. We hope this exploratory series has given you a deeper appreciation for these talented artisans. If you enjoyed this content, don't hesitate to hit like, subscribe, and share this video. It's the biggest motivation for us to keep creating new discovery journeys. Thank you, and see you next time.